And will the Niners play up or down to their opponent?
No, I think they're going to play. They know what time it is. You got to keep it in the back of your mind. They do not want to travel in the playoffs.
No.
They would love to stay. They would love to stay in the state of California.
Yeah.
And if they were able to get past, everybody in the NFC, well, guess what? You got a 2-hour flight to Las Vegas.
Yeah.
Hour and a half or whatever it is. So they're not looking ahead. They're not looking over the New York Giants. They watched what they did in the second half last week. They exploded for 31 points in the second half. I don't care if it is against Arizona. Y'all score 31-8. You rally. Daniel Jones played well in that second half. Obviously later on in that game they lose Saquon Barkley due to the ankle injury. But how are you not excited? It is the official home opener. I know last week at Levi South at SoFi Stadium, that was the unofficial home opener. It was nothing but red in that stadium. Ram fans that were outnumbered 5-1, maybe 8-1. But this is the home opener. This is the last time you saw the Niners on the field at Levi's. They were beating up on the Dallas Cowboys. All right? So how you're not excited?
Oh,
Should be jacked up about this. Think about the East Coast media. You lose this game, and what you're going to have to hear all week. Because I don't care, but a lot of fans do care.
I care.
Because I know they're going to call the show.
Yeah.
Oh, you can't beat the New York Giants, and everybody's going to be clouded all these networks you watch. That's why you don't overlook them. That's why you get excited. Whenever you get an opportunity to beat up on a Chicago, to beat up on a Philadelphia, to beat up on a Washington, a Dallas, the New York Giants, the Patriots, you got to take that to Pittsburgh Steelers. Those games mean something to a lot of people.
Agree. Well,
this is where you get your Pro Bowl votes. This is where the All-Pro voters, they think Thursday Night Football, wow, All-Pro Fred. Look at what he did.
That's what I'm saying. They're going to roll out our lineups.
Yep.
They're going to go All-Pro Fred. Nick Bosa, he just got the bag. Wow, look how good Dre Greenlaw is. Talanoa Hufanga is making big strides. Let's see what's going on with this high-priced free agent and Javon Hargraves. Eric Armstead's been really good for quite a long time. What's going on with this young guy, Drake Jackson, who had 3 sacks in week 1? There's a lot on that defensive side. Then you flip over to the offense. CMC. I mean, the guy is 80 yards up on everyone else in football right now. I think he's quietly having, through 2 weeks, put his name in the hat for MVP.
No doubt.
Right? Deebo Samuel. Last year it was different. Everyone knows who Deebo is, but being a sustainable superstar, I think that's still questionable. I think it's fair. Anyone can have one great year. Can you have multiple great years? And that's how you put yourself in that Tyreek Devontae category, A.J. Brown category. Those guys have monster years year after year after year. And then Brock Purdy, right? George Kittle. How many George Kittle commercials are we going to get tonight?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm going to be at the game, so. And then when I watch it
probably
back.
10.
And when I watch it back, I'll be fast-forwarded to the commercials.
I know.
Listen, I just saw something here on the text line. YouTube. Sentinels Football Channel. If Dallas gave them a donut, we need to beat them 50-0. Why do we need to beat them 50-0? Why? Why do we need... The Niners are going to face Dallas in a couple weeks. Niners could win this game 16-13 and beat Dallas 31-17. Does that even matter? Does that even matter?
Style
Dallas,
points?
Yeah, does that matter? Do you think going into this, wow, Dallas Cowboys beat them 40-0. Whoa. We need to do this, X, Y, and Z. I don't care.
Well, I think that game was very different, and it started to rain, and there was a lot going on in that Cowboy-Giant game, and clearly they got overwhelmed, and the game got away from them. I think this was going to be a lot closer, man. You don't have all offseason to prepare. This is 3 days. 3 days to prepare. Both teams are really banged up. I don't care if you win 2-0 on a safety. Right. Just win the game. Get to 3-0. Get the 10-plus days of rest. Get ready for Arizona.
Wow, G. Martinez, I want domination. I do believe this D-line will dominate tonight. But I think the New York Giants defense is going to come to play. The chess match between Wink Martindale, the D coordinator of the New York Giants, and Kyle Shanahan. Last time, Wink Martindale, he was a D coordinator in Baltimore for a long, long time. And Shanahan and the Niners played them, remember, in 2019 in Baltimore in that rainy game. That was a hard-hitting football game, 20-17. The Niners were able to move the ball at times. They had a couple fourth down shortcomings. Remember, 4th and 1. They blew it on a gun run. Akers missed a kick. Jimmy threw an interception in his own territory.
Wait, Jimmy?
Yeah, Jimmy. Jimmy did.
You don't say.
Yeah, Jimmy did. So, Tyler Miller. Hey, look, Xavier McKinney got ran over by Dobbs. No shot their defense brings it. So a lot of people are expecting domination. So that means a lot of people are laying the 10.5 against the New York Giants?
In a single season, how many times do you blow a team out? Even if you're a good team. I mean, a couple?
Yeah.
I don't know. I just think these Thursday games are clunky, and I think guys are tired, and they never go the way you think they're going to go. I don't know. I think this is going to be a stiffer test than people are giving it credit for.
Why do you think that?
Just because I respect Brian Daboll, and I think that they've clearly put their foot in the sand last week at halftime and said, we are not going to have our season be ended in the first quarter of the year. And when they come back, and I know it's Arizona, and we can scoff at that, but they're an NFL team. When they came back the way that they did, roaring back, they're dealing with some momentum right now. I know they're out Saquon Barkley. I believe in the Patrick Ewing effect. When one of your best players goes out for the first week or two, I think you can overcome it. Now we get 10 weeks in, and you're missing one of your best players, and then you have a problem. I think this is gonna be a lot closer than people are giving it credit for.
Yeah,
it's just tough, man. It's the NFL.
It's Thursday night football. Which today's not the day for it, but Thursday night football, boy, I would love if they moved off that. I know it's a good money grab. I know everybody watches.
I prefer Saturday night football.
Yeah,
I know
they're
they're
not going to go against college football.
I know.
How about just playing Sunday and Monday? Give these guys a proper rest and recovery. I mean, you want to talk about player safety? Get these guys. If you had maybe a Sunday game, maybe Brendan Ayuk plays. Go ahead, love it.
Well, yes, remember when they first started doing the Thursday night games every week? The NFL's like, we're going to do only interdivisional matchups to limit travel. And it was just like, that's the biggest lie ever. And then 2 years later, they're having teams travel across the country for these Thursday night games. It's like, you can't complain about player safety on one day and then make guys play Thursdays every week like this.
Well, at least they allowed the New York Giants to stay on the West Coast. You play Arizona on Sunday. They don't have to go back to New York City. They practice in Arizona this week. Then you take the short flight up to the Bay Area, up to San Jose, stay across the street at the Hyatt Hotel. Or I think they may be staying at the Hilton. Who knows? Maybe the Hyatt. Who knows? But then, it's short rest. So it worked out for the New York Giants. You think about the Raiders and them opening up. Where did they open up? In Denver. And then they stayed at the Greenbrier, West Virginia. They travel up to Buffalo. You love the Greenbrier.
Well, every time I hear the Greenbrier, I think of the Phil Mickelson commercial where he's like, and you can hit golf balls and ride jet skis and falconry. And there's a guy, like Phil Mickelson has a falcon on his arm, and it just makes me laugh every time. Whenever I hear the Greenbrier, I know it's such a weird thing to laugh about.
So,
sorry.
888-957-9570. 408. Seems like a trap game. Remind me of when the Niners played Colt McCoy and the Cardinals a few years back, and we got the great Eno Benjamin basically trucking Drake Kirkpatrick and Kevin Kugler going, oh my goodness.
I don't know about trap game because it's a primetime game, but again, you just don't have the normal preparation and the normal recovery, especially early in the season, to be ready to roll. I mean,
what would you say to the fans who are saying, hey, it's going to be a blowout? This is done. This is easy money. Because I get a sense of a lot of that from the Niner fans.
We have a superstar
this week,
roster.
There's been a lot of Niner fans with their heads up high, and they should be high.
Yeah.
2-0. You got a roster that's ready to go to a Super Bowl. A lot of Niner fans thinking that this game is already over.
I mean, how many times in the 5 years you and I have worked together where I'm like, we're going to blow this team out.
And it becomes a very close game.
Yeah, so I've learned my lesson, okay? Because I have to be held accountable for some of these opinions. Not all of them, but some of them. And
for most of them.
Yeah, and so I'm always cautious. I'm afraid of getting roasted at every single turn. And also my predictions aren't seeming to be going very well.
What was your, which predictions?
All of them.
What, you don't really make predictions.
No, I'm not a big prediction guy.
What predictions did you make?
Well, I mean, I would get roasted for pivot, no panic.
Oh. Well, I mean,
treating my opinions like the stock market, where one day it goes up, the next day it goes down. Next thing you know, I'm being called flipper,
Who cares?
I'm not a porpoise.
Who cares?
But I just want to see Brock have another great game. That's what I would like to see. I want to see Brock on the big stage have a really great game so that he could just shut up all of these people that are like, he's a product of Shanahan. He's a product of the players around him. That gets tiring. As a Niner fan, it gets like just give our guy a little credit. No one is saying you guys got to crown him, but stop acting like he ain't that good. He is very good.
These are the games I look at Shanahan saying, we talk about all the young hotshot play callers, and you see within the division where you got Sean McVay, who has that Super Bowl, and you look at Zach Taylor in Cincinnati, you look at O'Connell in Minnesota, and you think about all the hotshot offensive coordinators. There's another one where I think Shanahan kind of gets ready for it. He goes, Brian Daboll. They've already put him in the same stratosphere as me.
I know.
Brian Daboll, because of 1 year, and also those years with Buffalo where he helped Josh Allen become an elite quarterback. I don't want to say they haven't been the same without Daboll because they were cooking early last season. something's off this
A
year.
little off.
But that elbow injury by Josh Allen last year really set them back. But,
he looked incredible.
But these are the games Shanahan, I think he looks across the sideline saying, I'm the guy. I'm the head honcho when it comes to play calling. I'm the dude that everybody wants. You're nothing. You're not on my level, Brian Daboll. So I can't wait to see his script early on. And I think these are the games Shanahan takes personal.
Right.
You know?
I think you're right. I absolutely think you're right. Especially when you just look around the league. A lot of people want to replicate what the Niners have done and what the Rams have done. Let me find the next offensive genius who's going to ride us into the next decade. Right. I want to find the guy who can fix our quarterback. I want to find the guy who can move the ball and score at will. I want to find the guy who's clever and creative and can get guys open and maximize talent. Right. That's what we found in Shanahan, and that's what they found in Daboll, at least they believe. I think Shanahan's better than Daboll, but I respect Daboll.
I am very eager. Daboll, and I respect Daboll, and I like what he did with Daniel Jones, and I expect the Niners defense to dominate. But offensively, I do want to see it without Brandon Ayuk. What does Purdy look like without Brandon Ayuk? Because they have a connection that nobody's talking about here. Purdy loves him some Ayuk, and Ayuk loves him some Purdy.
If Purdy has a 300-yard passing game, throws for 5 touchdowns tonight, all right, you know what the conversation is? Well, I mean, he does have CMC and Debo. I mean, he does have George Kittle. The guy literally has to throw to Lewis Murphy and Ross Dwelly and, pick Vinny Sutherland and Quentin Patton and Bruce Ellington. That's the only way he can get respect nationally. And that sucks. It sucks. Honestly, it kind of sucks.
I thought you were going to go in a different direction.
What do you mean?
I thought you were going to go, you don't need to pay IU. Just go draft another wide receiver.
No. I want as many weapons as possible. What are you talking about?
Yeah, no,
what are you talking about? I don't want to subtract from my team. We are an all-star squad.
Right.
Like the top level talent on this team is ridiculous, right? Why would I want to take from that? I want to add to that. They created $42 million in space for this year, and they're going to roll it into next year, apparently, which is good. And I assume they're going to pay Ayuk.
Yeah, I'm assuming they pay Ayuk as well. Since Brock Purdy has become quarterback of the 49ers, replacing Jimmy Garoppolo last year against Miami back on December the 4th, Ayuk has done nothing but ball out. Ayuk, in those games, 8 games, 54 targets, 38 catches, 535 yards, 4 touchdowns, 1 rush for 16. And look, they've won some of these games going away. Think about Arizona, 38-13. Think about the Washington Commanders, 37-20. Think about Seattle up there where they didn't really pass the ball a lot. Ayuk had a quiet game then. But Ayuk against Pittsburgh, 8 catches, 129. Last week, 3 for 43. He had to gut it out with that shoulder injury. Any long-term concerns with Brandon Ayuk and his shoulder? Because a lot of people are saying, bench him. But what if Ayuk wants to play? Because this, as you keep saying, this is a standalone game.
I know.
This is a game for Brandon Ayuk can say, hey, world, here I am. I'm the other wide receiver that was drafted alongside CeeDee Lamb, Jerry Jeudy, Henry Ruggs, Justin Jefferson, Rieger, and Chase Claypool, and Michael Pittman Jr. I'm that guy here. I'm still around.
Seatbelts are there to help you from yourself, right? And so this is what coaches and training staff and all the health officials, they need to be there. If indeed he can re-injure himself severely, that's what they're in place for. You have to save the player from most players are going to want to play. We saw Mahomes on the sideline of the QB doc. No, he's screaming at Andy Reid. And Andy Reid had to save him from himself. And then Henny goes on to have a 90-yard drive for a touchdown. So, if there's any chance or they're skeptical even a little, I'm sure they'll sit him out. But the other side of this is he does get 10 days of rest after that. And so maybe he can get right. B, there is something to be said. I do think there are a collection of people going, they won games without Debo last year.
Right.
How important is Debo to the team? Can they still win games without Ayuk? How important? Not that they want to move off him. They just want to quantify importance. They've won games without George Kittle. It's been difficult. They've also lost a lot of games without George Kittle. It's been difficult, but it can be done. I forget the moving off of someone or quantifying their value. I think they just want to see what their importance is to the offense.